Okay, hello everyone. I am going live now about this amazing Schumann chart. So give me one sec here, and I just need to put this out on social media. Okay, get shareable link. One sec. Okay, we're going to talk about this. We are going to talk about this amazing chart for about 15 to 20 minutes because, as you probably know, it's Father's Day in the USA, and I have some things to do. Okay, so here we go. All right, we're about to talk about this amazing chart today. There we go. This one, yeah. There we go. Okay. All right, we're going to start talking about this amazing chart in a second. I'm just putting this out on social media. So if any of you who are on already could go out on social media and let people know I'm doing a live for about 15 minutes, that would be super amazing. I'm just putting this out on Twitter right now. And then we're going to talk about the chart, which is off the hook. I mean, I've never seen a chart like this. I don't think anybody alive has ever seen a chart like this. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about the Schumann Resonance chart, and in the live detail, I have a link to every archive of the chart that we're going to talk about really quickly here, and that's in the detail. Hi, everyone, and it's so great to have you here. So I'm going to talk, and then if we have time at the end, I'll address comments, but I just have a short time. I'm supposed to be going somewhere, but I just couldn't not get on and talk about this chart. So Schumann Resonance, I'll put a link to I'm going to put a link to the archive chart right here, okay, so that you can see, there we go, right? So that if you're on the computer or whatever, you can pull it up. And I'll put a link to the live chart as well so that you can check that out. Okay, so there are about 4 points that I want to hit about this energy. And the first is this, okay? What we are seeing on the chart today is what I would call cymatics on the Schumann Resonance chart. And it's absolutely incredible. I never thought I would see something like this so amazing on the chart. And what is cymatics? Well, you can go on YouTube or Rumble and you can look up CYMATICS. I'm going to write that down. Cymatics, just so you guys have it. And I put it in the video description on the chart today. Okay, so basically, what people do in cymatics videos is they'll put sand on a flat surface, okay, and then they'll run a frequency through the surface. And what will happen is when the frequency hits certain numerics, the patterns in the sand will change, okay? And you may have never thought that you would see this on the Schumann resonance, and yet here we are. And what's absolutely fascinating is that the Schumann resonance mirrors human brain waves, okay? So basically what's happening here is we are getting a cymatic pattern in the same range from 0 to 40 hertz as human brain waves, and that is absolutely stunning. Now, what's also stunning is the incredible energies that you see on the black charts, frequencies, amplitudes, and qualities. In the video detail for this live, I've got links to every archive chart for frequency, amplitude, and quality for this amazing chart. So you can go back and look at them later or look at them while we're talking. It's up to you. So thanks for being here, everyone, on this Insta Live today. Even though it's Father's Day in the USA and I have something to do, I'm supposed to be somewhere in an hour, but I totally wanted to get on the chart and on the live and just quickly give an update about this. So here's my question for you, okay? If the event happened that everyone is talking about, that at some point there'll be an event, let me ask you this. If the event happened, would we even know, right? Would we see it? Would we feel it? Would we understand what it is? How would we experience it? If something so amazing as whatever the event is supposed to be happened, would we even know? Right? And when you look at a chart like today's Schumann with cymatics on the chart in the same range as human brainwaves, you have to wonder, like, what event caused this, right? What was it? And so it's interesting that this is happening, right? It happened just days after, we're 7 days after Pluto moved back into Capricorn from Aquarius. Okay, so there's a new system coming to our planet, right? And it's going to be based more on Aquarian energies. This is the theme of ages in astrology. And so we're about to, in 2025, fully enter the Aquarian age, but we've already stepped in. And so, do I associate this amazing change on the chart with that? Yes. And let me tell you why. Saturn rules Aquarius, and Saturn is about structure. And Saturn just retrograded overnight, I believe it was. Um, and and this is a big deal, right? Because it's in Pisces. What does that mean? Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is about structure. Pisces is about the woo-woo spiritual. Those themes seem to be like oil and vinegar. And this is a Saturn in Pisces is something that I have in my chart and I've experienced my whole life. And I finally came to an understanding of what could be going on here. And it directly relates with the fact that I interpret energy in the Schumann. To me, what Saturn in Pisces is about, which retrograded today, last night, it's about structure in energy, structure of mind, structure of the non-physical, and coming to a new understanding about this. And as we come to a new understanding, as a group, humanity comes to a new understanding. And so today in the Schumann, we have a cymatic pattern in the Schumann resonance. It's a new structure. We've never seen anything like this before. And what you're seeing is you're seeing geometric patterns, right, across the levels of human brainwaves reflected in the Schumann resonance. So the Schumann resonance goes from 0 to 40 hertz, and that is in the same range as human brainwaves. And I want to explain that. From 0 to 4, you get infra low, very low, and then you get delta, right, where we're unconscious. From 4 to 8 hertz, you get theta, the subconscious or the dream time. And in my view, we get experiences of the astral, especially in this. From 8 to 12 hertz is the alpha. Okay, so the awake, observing brainwaves. And then from about 12 or 15, somewhere between 12 and 15, all the way up to about the 30s, we get beta brainwaves, which is our thoughts. We get into analytical thoughts. Hold on, I got to put my do not disturb on here. We get into analytical thoughts, we get into complex thinking and bringing that experience of what we've observed and thought about into our world. And then in about 35 to 40, somewhere in there, we get gamma brainwaves, which are the spiritual brainwaves, right? Our spiritual experience of connectedness with the divine. And so what we're seeing is, this is fascinating, in the cymatic pattern, and the chart link is up in the first comment, okay, up near the first comments if you're just joining. But what you see here is you see that cymatic pattern from literally almost 0, so from the infralow brainwaves up through 40 hertz. Now, there's always been a lot of talk, especially in the recent years, about The Matrix, right? That movie came out in 1999 with Keanu Reeves, talking about a false matrix, essentially, that humans were hooked up to. And it's so fascinating to me that if we're about to move into a new age, right? Pluto's going to fully move into Aquarius in in 2024, then it'll retrograde again, and then in 2025. What gets us off the old patterns, right? It's almost like our brainwaves have been stuck in a way of thinking. Well, we get this presentation on the Schumann today of a new way, a new pattern. Oh my gosh. I've talked about this on recent lives and in my answers to a recent comment on my YouTube channel. But sometimes people say, like, I can't think of anything today, or they're not able to engage thinking wise, okay, which would be um, the high beta brain waves, basically through most of the spectrum of brain waves from 12 to into the 30s is beta, which is thought. And what I've always experienced is when I'm in that stage where I can't really think, my thoughts can't really interact with reality, things just aren't working. And I almost feel like I'm dreaming, but I'm awake, right? More of a 4 to 8 hertz, more in the theta stage. What I have noticed about when we're lifted out of our normal thought patterns, it allows us to engage something new, right? When we come back in, we have a new sense. We are fresh. That's the first thing. The second thing is when we are lifted up like that, what I feel when my thought patterns feel off, and it's 11:11 as I'm talking about this with you, my time. But when my thought patterns are more in that dreamy stage where I can't really think, what it does is it also protects us. It protects us from things that are happening in the regular brainwave hertz that are not helpful, that are not healthy. Like if there are negative energies of a certain kind, I find that when I'm lifted into this sort of waking dream time during the day state, more of a theta, 4 to 8 hertz type state, that is where I feel protected. And it's so interesting because even though the cymatic patterns are across the Schumann resonance chart today, what you see if you look at the chart is that from 4 to 8 hertz, there are two very, very thick lines of white resonance. And these occur in our subconscious, so a little over 4 hertz. And it occurs right both at our waking state and our connection with Earth, because the natural frequency of Earth is 7.86. And so on the chart line, hold on, let me get some to drink here. Having my morning coffee with you. Pardon. So you see two very thick lines of white resonance on the chart. And to me, that's the expanded nature, right, of the energies. And to me, this is our protection. It's in the 4 to 8 hertz, it's in the dream time or subconscious, and it's in the waking stage. Now, how many of you have felt dizzy? How many of you have felt, yesterday I could not get my computer stuff to work. I recorded an hour-long video. I've been trying to get it posted for 2 days, and my computer, first my processing program was wonky, my computer was wonky. I ended up having to delete my entire library and restart my computer processing program. And the video, it turned out, never even saved. And so it's almost like the computers can't handle this energy, I have to say. You see two thicker lines. So you see two thicker lines of white under the first two very thick lines. The two thicker lines, let's see where they are. They are at about a little less than 12, so still in the alpha state, and then at about 15, 14 or 15. So in our lower thinking. So we're thinking, but it's not in high complex thought. Now, if you were dreaming and you were having an amazing experience in the dream time, what would it look like? Like when you have that feeling, right, of awe, you wake up and you just experienced something amazing. It looks like we are experiencing that in a waking state from these patterns. What do I mean about cymatics on the chart? What we see on the Schumann chart today is an incredible set of geometries on the chart. And what you can see is that these geometries are repeating, right? There's a circle, there's sort of a stretched out oval with a point, and then there's interlacing lines of energies. It's actually extraordinarily beautiful. So, what I want to say here first to the people at Space Observing System Institute, thank you for printing this. And thank you for printing not just the entire chart, but both the frequencies, the amplitudes, and the qualities. Thank you for sharing this data with us and letting us see it. So deep, deep gratitude to the people over there. And let's all send them prayers of love and gratitude, because the space observing system that prints this chart is in Russia, which is in a war, as we all know, with Ukraine. And my thought is, let's all send them, the people of both countries, prayers of incredible, amazing love to lift them up, right? May the highest good prevail and divine will unfold in perfection. And blessings on all the people, the living human beings who are experiencing something over there. Now, what could be the cause of these incredible waves on the chart of energy? Could they be human caused by some kind of human technology? On my recent live, which has a picture of a woman meditating in front of Earth, I told Schumann stories, and I told stories of the unusual activity on the Schumann Resonance in May and in the last 2 months. So if you want to hear the details of that, go back and see my recent live, and I also go into detail on it where I talk about frequency machines on another live. Anyway, all my recent lives have some really interesting information and stories. So here's the thing. While it does appear that there are human technology effects in some of the data recently, I question whether we as humans, even though we know that we do have, right, the advanced technologies that are not public, could we create something like this? Gosh, I don't know, right? I don't know. And it's fascinating. On my Twitter, there's a segment from Stephen Greer's recent disclosure presentation. It's a man who worked in Antarctica. And what he says, and you'll see the clip on my Twitter, you know what? I'll post that in the video detail once I'm done talking. But basically, it's a recent tweet of mine, and you can see this gentleman talking, and he says that there is a station, a very powerful ELF, that's in the Schumann Resonance Hertz range, ELF generating station at Antarctica. And what he said, it was up to nefarious purposes and that it was operating. So that's his testimony on it. But when I look at these incredible patterns, this doesn't feel nefarious to me, and it doesn't feel like a lower effect of a technology, like a negative effect. We as humans, we've got to be able to trust our instincts when we look at something. When I teach my human energy workshop, I always tell people, like when we're talking about non-physical energy, I always say to folks, let your human sensations from your human body be your guide. You know, we know when we are around someone that doesn't feel right, that we're suspicious of another actual human being, right? We get a sense. Trust your sense with energy. Just because it's in the non-physical doesn't mean you don't have the tools to assess it, deal with it, and understand it. You do. Okay. It's my view that as living human beings, we've been granted these abilities, right? They're part of our body, but the old matrix system tamped them down, told us to stay away from them, told us that they were bad, right? Told us that this was evil. Well, guess what? While we stopped using our ability to assess the non-physical evil thrived, I do not consent violet flame over that experience, right? We were told, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, right? And we did that. We stayed away from it. And what did that do? We didn't shine the light into it. And what did that do for humanity? It allowed a whole negative matrix to be created that has abused humanity, created wars, abused children, and been a terrible influence in general on our living human societies. And maybe it's time to disconnect, and maybe we're being presented with the idea that we could have a matrix that's completely different, that's based off of beautiful geometries, that are based in the divinity that the human being is created from, right? Each of us has a living human soul. And if you don't know that you have a soul, then I have compassion for you. If you can't feel that energy, but scripture says, ask and you shall receive. Ask and it will be presented to you. So let's go back to the question, how did this happen on the Schumann? Could it be human earth technologies? I'd say maybe, but maybe a low percentage chance, right? It doesn't feel like a negative technology. Does it feel like something positive? Yes. Do humans have an extremely advanced positive technology? Maybe we do. Maybe there's white hats and good guys that have an extremely advanced positive technology. I would like to believe that. Okay. I do. In my intentions, in my prayers, that's what I intend. That doesn't mean that it's real in this moment, right? I don't know if it is, but it's what I ask God for. Is it some kind of galactic energy? Maybe it is. Maybe the earth has moved through something or encountered an energy in space, or maybe there was a galactic level transmission. Maybe this will come out over days and weeks to come, that we experience something from another planet or another, part of the galaxy. And maybe that's why this pattern was created. So maybe it's cosmic, right? Maybe there's some cosmic energy here that entered Earth's atmosphere and created this amazing, beautiful pattern. But maybe it's an earth energy. In my videos, oftentimes you'll hear my dog. And so often what my dog does in videos when I'm recording is he shakes, right? And he just shakes his whole self. And when he does that, what I do is I'll say, shake it off. We've got to shake this off. Maybe this is Earth and humanity working together, shaking off that old matrix, those old frequencies that held us down, that compressed us into negative creation and negative ways of being, that wanted to separate us from God. I do not consent. That wish to hide us from our own divinity, which working with that within us creates amazing, beautiful patterns. So that's what I'm wondering, right? Does this represent somehow a new system that we are actively participating in? And I turned off my do not disturb, so I don't know why. I apologize. I'm going to have to shut off. I'm going to have to shut off. Sorry, I must just turn off my Skype. Okay. All right, so here we are. Okay, so this is what I want to do next. I want to show you the charts. I want to talk to you about what's going on behind the scenes, because we just discussed the images, right? And the possible potentials there. But now what I want to tell you about is what's going on in the frequency, amplitude, and qualities, and it's absolutely stunning. And before I do that, I just want to say that the image charts, this pattern appears to go far higher than 40 hertz. That's on the space observing system charts, far higher, because you can see down way to 40 hertz, this pattern is continuing, right? You can, as I've done, analyze like down to the pixels at 40, and it's keeping going. So how far through the hertz ranges available on Earth did this go? That's a very interesting question, and I don't know the answer, but we can take a look at the Italian charts at some point and look at what's going on with them. Okay, so now I want to show you what's going on in behind the scenes. So here's the key highlights. Okay, and then so number one, in frequencies, the white went down to 7.2, and this is extremely low. The red peaked at 21.2. This is a range in red frequency where we've seen propaganda in the past. It's fascinating. It peaked at that level because of the words in the middle of the chart. I can't read all the data, which is very annoying. So if you happen to be from Space Observing System Institute and you're watching this video, could you guys please put the copyright and website link in the bottom left corner, or the upper right corner, because it's ridiculous. We can't even see the data here, but thank you for printing it. Okay, so 21.2 is where we've seen propaganda in the past. And you guys, I'm going to put this on my Rumble tonight when I do a video. You'll see all the charts on my Rumble. Right now, I'm not putting the charts on my YouTube, but the links to the archives are in the video detail. So it's interesting because what happened during these geometries, the frequency for red, the range, it went from the bottom end of the range, which was 18, which is pretty low. Okay. And then it would pop up to 21.2 and then back down, up and down, just literally up, down, up, down. And it's interesting because are we kind of pinging this propaganda level, the level of hertz at which the propaganda was emanated, and then going no and coming back down and then going back up? As far as I can tell from the data, which some of it I can't see because of the website link blocking it, is it looks like it happened 3 times during this strange energy so far on the chart today. Now, what's really interesting is that the green has been pretty far above 25.2. That's our safe level. Has it been under? Yes, but it's also consistently gone over. And at the beginning of this strange chart movements, it was over for looks like 3 hours. Okay, over 25.2. So this, in my view, is where we've got our courage, where we stand forth, where we say, I'd like it this way. I want to create this way. And then in the white and the yellow, what I would just say is it was very interesting because frequency ranges really went to lows, and same with green. In the green, the low was 23.5, but just for, maybe less than an hour. And that's probably about the lowest that I've seen. I don't have access to a data bank with the frequency data every day for years, but 23.5 that's really low on the range. So we, as soon as this started, right, it affected the whole range of our experience, particularly in green, which I think represents the human experience, and in red, which is, in my view, the forces of darkness, the shadow side of the human personality, and our dense emotions, our fear, our anger. It less affected us in white and yellow. So now let's talk about amplitudes. This was amazing. Okay. White went to 190 power, and it went to 190 and stayed between, maybe 160 and about 190 for, gosh, let's see here. That's from 3 a.m. to now, so 21 hours, and it's continuing. So this is amazing power behind this energy in the white resonance, especially. Yellow's at 65, super high for yellow. And then red's at 44, green's at 41. What's unusual about those power numbers is red and green are so close together, and that's not common. Usually green is quite a step down. So there's a lot of activity going on in what red and what green represent here. But you have the backing of the divine, in my view, right? The white resonance, in my view, is the expanded energy, our divine nature, celestial support. Pretty much everyone who does the charts and gives the energies, characteristics, thinks that that's what the white represents. Now, here's the other stunning thing, and I always have to double check the numbers when this happens. Amazingly, quality in white went to 190, and I don't think we've ever seen white at that level before. And then it's consistently above, let's see here. I don't know what number this is. It's hard to tell what it's at now. It's been as high as 38, maybe in the high 20s, because the key is from 0 to 38. So when it's in the middle of that, it's probably about 17? Is it 7 plus 7 is 18? Maybe that's the low. We just never seen this before that I can remember. Okay. And like I said, I don't have access to a data bank. It would be neat to have that. But 190 in white, just unheard of. Now, what is white quality or any quality? In my view, the quality is as the quality increases, the resonance gets closer to the truth of its nature. So the natural frequency of the frequency range of the resonance. And so, 190, to me, this is why I said before, this doesn't appear to be a negative thing. This appears to be a very positive thing. With white resonance going up this high, it's almost like something's trying to lift us up into a new state of being, where we create something amazing for the human race, right? Finally, right? It seems like, or maybe we go back to it because there are all these people putting out posts on Telegram, on Twitter, on other social media that show how amazing human creations were, right? Our creations were so beautiful. When we go back even to like the Italian Renaissance, and then for, hundreds of years, we made these amazing creations. We built these incredible cathedrals, and what happened to us, right? We don't even know how these things were done, how the pyramids were made. We don't know how that technology worked. Pyramids all over the world, right? In every culture. It's pretty amazing. Now, here's the other incredible quality number. Red spiked to 250. This is incredible. Okay, so it spiked once to 250 and then multiple times to 200. 1, 2, 3, 4 times to 200. And then it spiked to about 170 a couple times. Wow. This is incredible. Is it the red that's helping cause these cymatic patterns somehow? The red with the white? I'm going to tell you something. I've talked about that I have an astrology teacher. This is a woman who has been doing astrology for that has been doing astrology for 40 years. And one of the things that she and I talk about quite a bit, and she introduced me to this idea in great depth. Um, we talk about souls of order and souls of chaos, right? That there are souls that are incarnated here from the light, and there are souls that are incarnated here from the darkness. And when I first started doing energy work, which I first started doing on 11/11/2012, okay, that was my first energy work that I did with the planet. And what was amazing to me, the first time that I did that, and I worked with a friend, I worked with friends, I worked with, so many celestial beings, other higher selves of humanity. A lot of times when you're an energy worker, light worker, or prayer warrior, you're doing this work and there are other people doing it at the same time, and you just are called in that moment, and you don't know who else you're working with, but we all get called in a moment. And then later, even years later, I'll talk to people and they'll say, oh yeah, I did this work. And I'll say, oh my gosh, I was there too. We were doing it together. It was so amazing. And then we can share, right, our different perceptions. But my point here is that in doing that work, that first time, what I saw was okay, so I'm going to invoke a space of sacred discharge, a space of neutral and viewed by the violet flame. I'm not invoking anything here or creating anything. I'm simply telling a story in a space of neutral energy about what I perceived and saw. So what I saw was essentially a devil come out of the ground, right? It's a longer story than that, but I just want to focus on this. And he was attended to by celestial forces, brought out of the earth. And I saw his vision of the earth, this devil character. And his vision of the earth was one of destruction. And I saw that the creator allowed him to experience his dream. This was off the hook incredible. Okay. It was in energy work, prayer work that I did over 10 years ago. But anyway, the point here is that I saw the creator allow him to have his dream. And as he had his dream, the celestial forces held a piece of the planet together. We held the light in the heart of Mother Earth. And when his dream was complete, the earth came back together in energy. and was the present moment. So I'm talking about a level of creation and energy here that's beyond human comprehension. I was just a human observer, okay? But then what I saw that shocked me and amazed me was the angels made a path for him straight to heaven, straight to source, straight to the arms of the Creator. And they each lined each side of the path. And this devil being, as he walked back home, as he walked back to source, he was given essentially a ticker tape parade by the celestial angels of the highest light. And then I saw the Creator take him in his arms and tell him, "My son, I love you. You have done well." And just fill this being with incredible love. And that shocked me. And that is when I first saw that there are souls of chaos and there are souls of order. There are souls of order that we usually call souls of light. We usually call chaos darkness, right? But what I didn't understand until that moment was that all of us are dearly loved. All of us have a role to play. So when I see the red quality, right, and red represents, in my view, on the Schumann Resonance chart, it represents both our shadow nature and the forces of darkness and our deep emotions, fear, anger. You see, all of that is part of creation and a valid part of creation, as much as we might not like its effects in the moment, right? Darkness is turned to light. Our greatest challenges are turned to our highest outcomes. We don't often want to hear this, right? In the moment. On my last live, I talked about how to deal with shocking events in life and how to handle this idea of how could this turn to my good? And I remember chatting with a girlfriend of mine years ago, and we were in this spiritual conversation, and I said to her, well, in our lives, our greatest challenges are always turned to our highest good. Our darkness is turned to light. And she looked at me and she said, yeah, for you it is. Okay. And I said, we have to intend it. We have to intend it and then trust. And now this is a woman who has amazing spirit. This is a different person than my teacher. Amazing spiritual blessings in her life, but she has worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people where she saw them go to negative outcomes in their life. And maybe they even passed on. But here's the thing. The soul looks at it from a greater journey. The soul looks at it from, the soul doesn't just look at one life. The soul looks at the life stream, the succession of lives. And sometimes we have these terrible experiences in life. Have I had lifetimes like that? Yes. I would say it seems like a majority, to be honest. And one day I had another friend, a different friend, years later, tell me, I wish I could take all that from you, what you went through in those other lifetimes, because it crushed me. I talked about that, especially on my Atlantis memories, being involved in Atlantis and being involved with the technology there. And that was crushing to my soul for literally thousands of years. And what this woman said to me was, I wish I could go back in time and I could take that from you. And I said, don't you dare take those hard experiences from me. Don't you even try. Because I wouldn't be the person I am today with the understanding of different things that I have today without having gone through those. And to be honest, the last 10 years of my life in this lifetime as Susan have been some of the hardest in my life. It's been some of the most challenging times in my life. I don't talk about any of it mostly on my videos because making my videos and creating is a refuge and a joy for me. It's where I get to make the beautiful geometric patterns, right? And share them with you of thought, story, and energy. But they have been some of my most challenging times. And I thank you all, for your presence with me going through that. So many of you have been with me since I started making the videos in 2020 and before. But yeah, so that I had to go into that spiritual story to explain the red. And I've noticed sometimes when I go into spiritual stories, I don't know if it's because I'm starting a new story that sometimes I see a drop off, because some people just want to hear about the data. But the fact is most of the people that listen to me want the story. They want the spiritual understanding. And to me, I just want to say there's not a separation between the spiritual understanding and what is going on in the energies. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, it's my view that we are going to come to understand these things. And the last thing I'll say about the chart is that the qualities of green, the human, spiked to 57, and they were looks like 31 or higher this entire time. And what does that mean? Closer to soul, closer to the truth of our nature, right? So go out there, express yourself, dream your dreams, live your life. And we're in a time right now where we're being told, oh, everything's going to get wrecked. Okay. Violet flame over all that. Like, I'm just, not invoking, I'm not creating. I'm just saying a story of what I read on social media constantly. Oh, everything's going to be wrecked, blah, blah. Well, maybe, but maybe actually what's happening is something beautiful is being created and we don't see it yet. And the fact is I know you guys are out there and we are doing this together, right? We're making these beautiful creations. We are intending for the future, but we're working on it now. And not everybody is out there to run for office and read court documents and share the current news, and I value everybody. I have a list of people who do all those things that I follow regularly, and I feel blessed for all of you who do that. And for me, it's just, no, I'm building in the non-physical. I'm talking about what is the structure of energy. Saturn in Pisces, right? This is a deep part of my mission. And I know you guys are out there doing the same thing. You're out there working on energy technologies. You're out there doing your prayer work and your spiritual work and your energy work. You're out there doing interesting projects, getting into groups and doing super cool things. And I'm talking about the young people too. It's incredible. The young people that I observe and witness participate in groups and interact in ways that are amazing, valuable, extraordinary. And I love how you guys do that. Okay. I see it and I'm like, gosh, it would have been so cool if when I was that age, we were like that, but we weren't, right? Because we were deep in the whole matrix thing. So anyway, I have an appointment now to meet people I'm late to. So I just had to get on and talk about this chart though. It's Father's Day in the USA. God bless all the fathers out there. Thank you so much for what you guys do. You don't get enough credit. And I bless you and thank you for your contributions, dads. And much love to you. Okay, I'm going to quickly look at yeah. Okay, you guys, I got to go. Love you all, really, from my heart. Thank you for being here. Have a great day.